Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, or whatever the case may be. My name is Marcus, and I am the host of the Black Brazil Today YouTube channel, as well as the blackbraziltoday.com blog, where I analyze Brazil from the perspective of race. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that came up in like social networks in Brazil, like maybe 4 or 5, 6 days ago. It was less than a week ago. And, a lot of people started commenting on it. And I says, and first I really didn't think much of it, but then when I saw just how much people were discussing the topic, it does have a little bit to do with, a particular subject that I have discussed before. Was instead of subject, I'll say just a personality that I've discussed before. And I says I wanted to actually uh, do a video and speak more about this person, and this just gave me an opportunity to go ahead and comment on this particular, I don't know if you want to call it a controversy that just came out maybe about a week ago or less. So today's story, with him, everything is about race, and he's married to a white man. Ex Big Brother Brazil contestants criticize gay black militant. Okay, so this has to do with a personality off of the ever popular Big Brother Brazil reality show that comes on Brazil's top television network, Global. And just a guy that was on that show. Not that we're in a new 24th season that just started, I think earlier this month. So they're in the 24th season, but this is talking about a guy who appeared in season 23. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what they said. I'm going to tell you now, this is going to be a two-part show because I wanted to explain a little bit about what they were saying about this guy. I wanted to explain a little bit about the personality that he is, how people know him, what he's famous for, and then come back for part two and discuss a little bit more to, discuss maybe the criticism and just how this explains again the racial politics that's going on in Brazil today. Whether you agree or you disagree. Actually, when I get to the, in the second video, I'm going to put it on people who watch this video. What do you think about this topic? Of course, I'm going to have my own opinion, but I'm very curious because a lot of you post some really good comments on the channel, and I just want to get an idea what you guys think, particularly those of you who regularly comment or watch the videos here and you live in Brazil or you're actually Brazilian. So let's get into this video for today. Ex Big Brother Brazil contestants criticize black gay militant. With him, everything is about race, and his husband is white. This is something that you often hear. Is something that when I started looking into the whole interracial couple thing going on in Brazil, it was something that really caught my attention. I'm going to explain why. But so the four, let me see, bullet points that I want to talk about in the first and the second part, and I'm going to expand a little bit more on this. Again, I don't often talk about Big Brother Brazil, but I have talked about it, sparingly over the years. When it touches on something that has something to do with race, I definitely want to talk about Big Brother Brazil because so many people watch it. To me, Big Brother Brazil and any other reality show is just like a small snapshot of, how Brazil is today. I'm not a fan of reality shows per se, but because they have to do it everyday people, I think it's a gold mine for people who are into certain topics. All right. So today we're talking about, contestants on the Big Brother Brazil reality show. Again, the racial identity politics is going on that have emerged in Brazil in the last decade, the decade and a half. The person who is at the center of, we can say, the discussion today is this guy named Fred Nicácio. And Fred Nicácio is this guy right here. This is with his partner or his marido, his husband. And then I want to talk a little bit about militancy and interracial unions because it's something that comes up from time to time. And as I said, when I first got involved in looking into race, racism, racial politics, racial identities type of things, this is something that will constantly come up. Okay. I'll explain more of that as we go on. So what's going on? Okay. So this couple here were former Big Brother Brazil contestants, Gustavo and Laís. And, they kind of went off on Fred Nicácio. They said he's kind of hard to deal with because with him, everything is about race. And for those of you who watched season 23, you can definitely say that Fred Nicácio had a strong
Cheio de
personality.
caroço, unha
You could
encravada,
say that he was
machucado,
kind of like the center
esparadrapo.
point
Que é
of
isso,
the
mano?
black
Por trás,
personalities that appeared on
por
that show.
trás
You know,
daquele
I don't know if
espetáculo
that's just
existe um
because of the
bastidor.
personality that he
Por trás
has.
dessas câmeras.
But he seemed to be the center figure in a lot of things that was going on inside the Big Brother Brazil house. You know, his name was constantly in the middle of something. And I think it speaks volumes that here it is. I'm talking about something, Big Brother Brazil from last year. I haven't even dealt with this year yet, but let's talk a little bit about this. So what they're saying is that they really try to, in some ways, they want to avoid dealing with Fred because they feel like he makes everything about race. And then the question is, how is it that you promote so much about race on this show? You know, the idea that black people need to have unity. We need to have black people win on this show. We need to have black people as the finalists on this show. You know, we need to exclude white people from being, you know, the final 2 or 3 finalists of that particular season. And then they point to the fact, like, they didn't actually say this, they just kind of threw the thought out there without completing it, but that's what I get from it. How are you such a militant, but yet you got a white partner? And this is something that I've seen. This is not new. All of the thousands of comments that I've read over the years, particularly going back to the old Orchid social network, Facebook, now Instagram, you get this a lot. A lot of people see it this way. And it's not just black people see it and white people see it. So this, again, it brings to the forefront that Brazil is not this racial paradise that everybody, we don't see race here. We don't have those racial problems. That's the United States thing. But when you read the comments, you see that this thought, this difference in race, this difference in opinions, this kind of conflict is going on. You see it in Brazil, and it's come out so much more since the era of social networks began. So let me just get right into this video. So ex-Big Brother Brazil participants and influencers Gustavo Marcengo and Laís Caldas blasted other contestant Fred Nicácio, a black man, during their participation in Selfie Service, a program on YouTube. The ex-Big Brother Brazil contestants criticized the doctor's attitude, confessed fear of him, and divided opinions on social media because of what they said. Okay. Again, this is Fred Nicácio with his husband. You might look at him as white. Maybe you don't. I don't know. A lot of people see him as being white. I don't know. Are we talking American white or Brazilian white? Because if you talk about white in Brazil, then he could be considered white, right? Anyway, Gustavo said he was afraid of joking with Nicácio and being called a racist by the former Big Brother Brazil 23 participant. Laís added that he always uses social media for everything. So just listen to a couple of things that they had to say. Again, another picture of Fred and his partner or his husband. He's a bit tiresome, they say. Or what Gustavo said this: I'm afraid of playing odds and evens with him, winning, and him calling me a racist. Gustavo confessed. He'll make anything into a racial issue, and he's married to a white man, said the digital influencer. Okay, again, this is the couple again, Laís Caldas and Gustavo Marcengo. This is what they said. This is the YouTube channel that they appeared on. You know, I see this guy talks a lot. He talks to a lot of people that appeared on the Big Brother Brazil reality show. You know, Sara Aline was from last year, Alface was from last year, and then the two people we're talking about today. These are all people that were on Big Brother Brazil. So let's keep it moving. The couple's statement caused controversy among internet users. You know, some people commented, one of them said, 2 white people upset with Fred. That's nothing new. Ridiculous, said another. What a clueless argument from Laís, detonated a third. So I would say, and I can't see because I didn't see the people who commented on this, but apparently this shows the divide. You know, the comments that they made looks like it has divided social media in Brazil, whereas black Brazilians are looking at them like what they're saying is ridiculous, whereas white Brazilians are looking like I know there's a lot of white Brazilians who actually support what they said. So you see, again, this conflict that's going on social media, and it's going directly down racial lines. And not to say it's directly, because I've seen people who say they didn't like Fred's politics on the show, as well as white people who's like, well, I understand how he feels that way. So you can't just say it's straight race down the line, because it's oftentimes a mix of both sides. Again, Fred Nicácio. So who is Fred Nicácio anyway? Fred William Nicácio Sousa de Oliveira is a doctor, a television host, physiotherapist, and a digital influencer. I first learned of Fred when a photo went viral with one of his patients in 2018. 74 years old, the woman had never been tended to by a Black doctor and wanted to take a picture with Fred for this very reason. I had seen other images of Fred online where he took a number of like fashion-oriented photos. Okay, another picture of Fred Nicácio. I remember shortly after that, a friend of mine told me that she thought Fred was gay. The thought had never occurred to me, so I asked why. She said that at that time she wasn't sure, but a few things she had seen online led her to believe this to be the case. Within a few weeks, it became clear that Fred was in fact gay. In 2021, Fred hosted the Brazilian edition of the Netflix program Queer Eye. So Queer Eye Brazil. You'll see a lot of Netflix series that have a Brazilian edition, for Brazilians to watch. In 2023, Fred was announced as a participant on Big Brother Brazil. According to reports at the time, the show's 23rd season had the largest number of Black participants in the program's history. And for the first time, the number of Blacks outnumbered that of white participants. This was big news. I'm going to go back to say maybe the 20th or the 21st season, you started seeing this rise in Black participants on Big Brother Brazil, where, for years they complained like you only had one or two Black people on the show. Very rarely do Black Brazilians actually win on Big Brother Brazil. So since I'm going to say about 2020, you've seen this, it's been a slow rise in Black participants. So this is Fred Nicácio. He was 35 when he first appeared on the show. Again, representation. Big Brother Brazil 23 beats the record with half of the cast on Big Brother Brazil being Black. Then you have, it's the first time in 21 years that the Big Brother Brazil house has more Blacks than whites. So this was a big deal. It was, you saw this report go all across social networks. Everybody was talking about it. Nicácio would go on to become one of the most influential participants on the program. The doctor would eventually be eliminated, but his participation on the program divided opinions of viewers. There were those who supported him and others that detested him. Okay. A few days ago, I saw a post on Instagram that listed Fred as one of the most influential Black Big Brother Brazil participants, along with others such as 2021 winner. This is Thelma G. Assis, or I think her name is just Thelma Assis. I always forget if somebody has the DE in their name or not. And also well-known actor Babu Santana, this guy right here. Assis and Santana both participated in the 20th season of the reality show. All of these guys, the woman and the two men, and you could point out that there are more very influential Black participants on Big Brother Brazil, but these are just a few who stick out in my mind. For several years now, the Black representation on the top-rated reality show has been celebrated by Afro-Brazilians who had long complained of underrepresentation on the ever-popular program. Big Brother Brazil 23 had as many controversial moments as many of the previous seasons, some of them involving Fred Nicácio. This is Fred Nicácio with another participant, Cesar Black. It's funny if you turn his name around, it would be Black Caesar, but he was known as Cesar Black on the program. One of the first things with Fred that made headlines happen on January 18th of 2023, Nicácio, speaking to another participant, again, this guy Cesar Black right here, shared an incident in which he felt he had been a victim of racism. Working as a physiotherapist, Fred recalled seeing a doctor intubating. And he said to a white nurse that he wanted to do it. The nurse said, "Get out of here, boy. This is just for the doctor." Okay, 7 years later, dear, I went back there and she was my nurse. Yeah, I'm here, Dr. Fred Nicácio. So now what's up? Now I'm going to intubate and you're going to help me. We treat racists like this, exposing them, because whoever created the embarrassment should deal with it. So this is what Fred said to Cesar. He was explaining this incident that happened where he felt like it was a race issue. He felt that, this nurse was trying to like really keep him in his place, And so he went and finished studying. He became a doctor and he goes back to that, to that medical setting. And now that nurse is under him. He's looking like, okay, well, look at, how you like me now, basically. Again, this incident divided opinions. You had a lot of Black Brazilians who supported Fred. And then you had, I'm going to say, white Brazilians and some Black Brazilians who also didn't like what he said. That's a whole nother thing I want to talk about, because what I find is that Black Brazilians have long held a type of animosity because of how Brazil has treated them. So when they make a certain level of success and then they're still treated in a certain way in society, they want to lash out. And so to a degree, sometimes when this happens, Some people will look at it and say, well, it wasn't necessary for him to say that way. It comes across as a little bit arrogant. But on the other hand, if you've had a door slammed in your face for your whole life and then you react, in some ways that's understandable. What's your view of that? Then on January 20th, 2023, Nicácio was a target of what has been defined as religious intolerance. As I explained in a recent video, activists in Brazil now label this as religious racism. The incident involved Big Brother Brazil participants Christian Vanelli, Gustavo Benedetti, and Kay Alves. Now, Kay Alves is the lady, I talked about her a couple of weeks ago. She created an OnlyFans account where she was making, I think she said 30 times more money. She is a professional volleyball player, and she created an OnlyFans account where she was making a lot more money. So anyway, Christian said that he saw Fred standing in front of Gustavo and Kay's bed doing his thing, and that this scared him. So apparently they saw Fred praying, according to, his religious beliefs. Fred is a follower of the Ifa or Ifa religion that is of Nigerian origin. Okay, Fred, in I guess you could say in a religious, a prayer position, lotus position. As I discussed in the recent two-part series, the Afro-Brazilian religion known as Candomblé has long been a target of religious repression, intolerance, and racism. Ifa and Candomblé are part of the same religion. They refer to the same theogony and the same cosmology and the same theology. They are different cults of the same religion. So with that said here, as I said, this is going to be a two-part series. I wanted to first introduce what the issue was, what, the controversial statement that the former Big Brother Brazil contestant said. And I wanted to introduce you to Fred Nicácio just to lay the groundwork for a deeper dive into this topic in the next part of this video, or in part 2 of this two-part series. So if you're with me so far, definitely, like this video, share this video, drop a comment. Want to know how you feel as of right now about the topic. Where do you stand on these issues? Consider subscribing to the channel. Click on that notification bell so that you know when I put up the next video. There'll be a part 2 to this. And with that said, I'm going to end the video here and request that you all come back and check out at least part 2 of this two-part series.